Good morning. I want to welcome you to today's committee hearing. I am joined by my colleague, Marquise Harris Dawson. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Could you please, I guess, bring us to order and let's walk through the agenda.
Item number 1 is Resolution Carretzo Farrell Parks and CLA report relative to support for SB 140 if amended to recast and broaden the definition of tobacco product in state law to include electronic cigarettes.
Okay, so unless okay, now I've just been informed that we have speaker cards on these items. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call up Mr. Spindler. You'll get 3 minutes on your items. So please come forward.
So,
Good morning.
so you taking cards on all 11 items in 3 minutes?
You had 3 minutes, Mr. Spindler.
Oh, the clock only say the 58 second there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna do 11 items in 3 minutes, even though I'm allowed up to 5 minutes. Now, item number 1. No, you got to have tobacco products in the ghetto, fool.
Wait a
You
minute.
got-
Now
you got
you got people here you should respect. I mean, you really do. Now I'll give you your time.
Be talking about the cigarettes, man. Electronic cigarettes, y'all. You got to have it, man. You can't be expanding that stuff out there. Vote no on that, man. Then we got number 2, voter threshold for passage of local taxes. Why, that's crazy. That's crazy because you got to have 2/3 or they're going to throw everybody out of the ghetto because the property tax going to be too much. Now, you know how that works. You get your property tax bill, and they only vote unanimous, and then you're going to raise it 50%. Now, you know where I heard that? Infowars.com. There's a brother out there that's 12 to 3 in the morning. He on 11:50 a.m. His name is Alex Jones. He talk about item number 2, that all these local governments are trying to triple the property taxes to throw all of us motherfuckers out of our houses. So you got to vote no on number 2. Don't vote yes on number 2. Vote no, or we are all going to be losing our houses to those high taxes. And then we got number 3. Well, you know number 3, Nazarian, man. You got to vote for that. Now, we get to number 4, the State Scenic Highway. I don't care about the scenic highway. I live in the ghetto. I don't care about that. We don't need to be spending money on some scenic fool highway over there in Mulholland Drive. That's where all those white folks are. That ain't where we is. We is here in L.A. We got to get the money for the sidewalks and the streets, fool. So vote no on number 4. And then number 5, we got CalPERS, man. You don't need no more money for those fools. They bankrupting the state. $149 trillion nationwide in unfunded mandates for pensions. No more money for the pension. We don't got no more money. You go bankrupt. Vote no. Now, I don't have enough time to go over item 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, vote no. The gangster only giving me 1 minute to be talking. That ain't fair, Brother Marchese. I should be getting more time to talk about 11 items in 3 minutes. That ain't fair, fool. This ain't no due process, fool.
For those of you that are new here, we have to listen to this idiocy because we want to protect his First Amendment rights. but you should watch what you say, Mr. Spindler. You say it in the wrong place, man. You could, I don't know. Anyway, let's move back to item 1. Mr. City Attorney.
Franco. Actually, it sounded more like he was trying to sound like a crusty prospector from the Old West. It was a really indistinct
He didn't
dialect.
succeed in that with that either. But anyway, it is what it is. And as long as you come up here and you stay on the subject, we protect your right to say whatever it is you want. Okay, so let's go back to item 1. In fact, let's finish with our easy items, the consent calendar items.
Those would be item number 2, and that is resolution.
Let's hold 2. We'll read that. I want to hold items 2 and 5. So let's just go back to item 1, and then we'll vote on all of the other issues. So let's hold 2 and 5. I don't know if, on item 1, I was going to say after you indicated what the item was, that we will adopt the CLA's revised report and revised resolutions on that item. So without objection, that'll be the order. So now we can go to item 3.
Item number 3 is Resolution Krikorian Blumenfield and CLA report relative to AB 726 to allow for bi-articulated buses along the Orange Line.
Okay, is no comment from Mr. Dawson. Let's adopt the CLA report and resolution on that item. Item 4.
Item number 4 is Resolution Bonin, Wesson, and CLA report relative to a request to extend formal state scenic highway designation to the stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard, extending south from Los Angeles City County line south of Mulholland Drive to Pacific Coast Highway at Topanga State Beach.
Okay, so without objection, we'll adopt the CLA report and resolution on that item as well. That brings us to 5. We're holding 5. Let's go to 6.
Item number 6 is motion Sadia Weezar relative to a request for the city attorney to file a brief to the Supreme Court to protect the one person, one vote provision to continue the practice of drawing districts by total population.
Okay, so on that item, we'll adopt the motion. We're going to continue item 7. And now let's move to 8. And Mr. Harris Dawson, just stop me if you want to jump in. Okay.
Item number 8 is Resolution Buscaino, Englander, Bonin, and CLA report relative to identification of a sufficient and stable funding source for local street and road and state highway maintenance and rehabilitation.
Okay, so on that item, we'll adopt the CLA report and the revised resolution. Let's move to item 9.
Item 9 is resolutions Wesson, Englander, Martinez, and CLA report relative to support for various bills that would make it illegal for drones to interfere with firefighting efforts and related matters.
Okay, so who was the main author on that?
That would be Council President Wesson.
So what do you think I should do with this one? What I think is that we will adopt this. I think we'll adopt the CLA report and the resolution on this item. It brings us to item 10.
Item number 10 is Resolution Englander, Buscaino, Blumenfield, and CLA report relative to support for administrative actions to reverse the decision to grant parole to Voltaire Williams.
On this, we will adopt the CLA report and resolution. I do believe we'll have further conversations in the future where it relates to dealing with these types of issues. So, Madam Clerk, without objection, all of the items that we went through will be deemed approved. So now that brings us to item 2. I have cards on item 2. Jared, Jared, right, come on.
Make sure I get the microphone set up just right. Excellent.
Go right ahead.
All right. Are you ready? Okay, perfect. Good morning, Council President and committee members. My name is Gerard Wright, Move LA Policy Analyst, and we are in support, along with the letter with many signatories that are in front of you, with over 40 signatories, supporting ACA 4 and the Council motion. And we believe this provides cities tools in the funding toolbox to take care of local streets, roads, potential funding for bike and bus lanes throughout the city that can help move people to and from. This is about mobility and giving kudos to Councilmember Koretz and Bonin and Wesson for moving this forward in the committee. Fundamentally, this is about bringing back democracy. It's as simple as that. Trying to reduce the voter threshold for local sales taxes for better local control from 2/3 down to 55% provides the ultimate credibility and provides the ultimate opportunity for local committees and local members and local residents to weigh in on it, because if it's coming from the state, I mean, that's a whole other issue. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. Ruth, where are you? I saw Ruth Chernoff. Please come up.
I do oppose this motion. I believe in principle that lowering the threshold for passage on local sales taxes to transportation purposes is wrong, as it taxes the poor as heavily as the rich, and everyone has to eat and pay for certain basic necessities. It's a regressive tax. As to the making of an exception for transportation needs, I watched the State Department of Transportation meeting yesterday, and even they were admitting in their discussions that taxpayers had already paid for road repair not once, but 3 times over the last decade, only to see the funds go to other purposes. I think that it is unconscionable to keep putting all of the tax burden on the poorest people who are in danger of foreclosure, of eviction as renters. Their utilities are often threatened. Thank you.
Thank you. No applause. That's the last card on this item. So on number 2, we will adopt the CLA report and resolution. Quit disrupting the meeting. This is my last warning. Do not disrupt this meeting, Mr. Spindler, again. Okay, now we will move to item 5. Item 5, if I could have Ruth come back, Ruth Sarnoff, and is it Gabriella Leslie come forward?
I think that this is basically a good item, and it's a good resolution. I wanted to speak in support of that. I was intending on speaking to 6 and 7. I think the general principles, I haven't been able to read all this stuff.
Stay on the item,
Okay.
Ruth. Just
All right.
5.
Okay. I'm very anxious that we do as much as we can in light of climate change and of drought and of the toxicity in so many of our communities, that we do whatever we can to reduce that. If that is in fact the intention of this bill, then I am supportive of it, and I would thank you very much. I wish we had more time to talk about these in a longer meeting.
Thank
These are
you.
important issues.
Yes, they are. Thank you. Next speaker, please. Identify yourself and begin.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Leslie, and I'm a Los Angeles resident and a student at Stanford University. And I would just like to share a quote with you from Jane Jacobs, which is that the economy is a wholly owned subsidiary of the environment. And that's a reality increasingly impossible to ignore, especially for others of my generation and myself. So I would like to urge you to please support the coal divestment bill that's passing through the State Senate and the State Assembly. I'll share with you why. This is a financially savvy decision. In the past 5 years, the largest U.S. coal companies have collectively lost 75% of their value. Global finance is drying up. There's a very small likelihood of any bounce back in the coal industry as demand is dropping. Notably, Los Angeles has been taking moves to move themselves off coal power as well. Coal's share of U.S. electricity generation may have declined from 40% in 2013 to 13% by 2013, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce predicts. And coal is junk bond status. So I would like to share more, but thank you for your consideration. I urge you to support.
Thank you. Mr. Herman.
Mr. Speaker, is that only for 1 minute? Apparently it is. Isn't that pretty fucked up? That the report relative to including the city's 2516 state legislative public retirement known as CalPERS. You know what a CalPER is? It's a system that's so fucked up, it uses our money to buy things and then follow it all up, and we get nothing at the end when we retire. That's pretty messed up. My mom can't even get her CalPERS, let alone anyone else in this state. So, because of the 75% value decrease, Mr. Herman, you should know that the requirement of public comment should be advance notice to the conditions of these CalPERS. Take up real issues that care about the typically facts. Concerns should be open to the public by participation in this process. Input and opportunity. CalPERS, shove it.
All right. On this item, we'll adopt the CLA report and a resolution. So without objection, that'll be the order. What we want to do now, Madam Clerk, if you could do me a favor and please read item 11, we'll move to item 11.
Item 11 are motions Wesson Krikorian and Wesson O'Farrell, and reports from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment relative to greater participation by neighborhood councils in city meetings and implementation of priority recommendations resulting from the review of the plan for a citywide system of neighborhood councils.
Okay, so let's start out. Mr. Harris Dawson, I have some cards. Gracie, why don't you come to the center table, and let's start off with Mr. Simmons.
Good morning. My name
Morning.
is Pat Simmons. I'm with the West Adams Neighborhood Council, and I want to say I am real glad to see that the neighborhood councils are meeting again. This is the first meeting that we've had since January of 2014 that I know about. Before I get going, I would like to, if the neighborhood council could be put on early notification when we have meetings, because if it had not been for our slank meeting last night, I never would have known we was having a meeting.
We'll do better.
We do need better notification, and I agree with the item number 11. We want to get more neighborhood councils to participate, but we have to know. We can't just have secret meetings, so that we can, I think we can be a big help to the city since we are part of the charter. We are part of the LA city charter, and we came into being as a result of the city was in the process of breaking up into little pieces. And so we want to make sure that we are here to maintain our charter
Thank you.
goals that have been set out there. So thank you this
Thank
morning.
you.
And hopefully that we will get better notifications.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Bailey, Glenn, good to see you. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. President, Council Member. My name is Glenn Bailey. I'm wearing several hats today. One, as President of the Northridge East Neighborhood Council, one of the 10 neighborhood councils that filed community impact statements on this item. I'm also here as an executive committee of the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, representing 34 of the councils in the Valley. And you should have received a letter from them. I have copies here if you'd like to have that.
Sergeants, could you please get the, go
which
ahead.
is supporting, it's regarding the presentation time for neighborhood councils and alliances. I just, having a seat at the table, sitting next to Gracie is what we're important as part of the city family. Having adequate time to make presentations on items that may be more complex and having that dialogue. I think it's not going to happen as often, but it will happen on planning matters. Lastly, I respectfully disagree with the report regarding rollover funds. At your town hall meetings, you threw out the fact that it's a rush to spend at the end. This is important. We need to make it retroactive to this past fiscal year, and the LA Neighborhood Council Coalition has recommended that this be done, and we recommend $10,000 one
Thank
time,
you.
1 year.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Bailey. We'll get there. I don't know if it's going to be at that figure, but trust me, we will get there. Mr. Thomas, Ted.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
My comment is basic that we are neighborhood councils and volunteer, and we don't have enough time to get, just like Clint said, that if we hadn't been at the Sling meeting last night, we never would have known about this meeting. And my other complaint is we have to post, and half of the people that we post in all the areas. And I just wanted to ask the empowerment, where are we in violation of the Brown Act? We post in 5 different places and on our website. Now, to go and post, we have to send a posting in to Empowerment West, and the time consuming and everything, because most of our board members work, and we don't have the time and the inkling to do all the work that is put onto our board members.
So let me look into that one and see if what we can do with that. But I do appreciate you coming down. Your time is expired. If I give you more time, then that means I have to give other
I really
folks.
appreciate it.
Okay, but everything that you say will be taken seriously. Joanne Garb and General Jeff. General, you next. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm glad you're back in session. Joanne Yavanik, West Hills Neighborhood Council, and also a budget advocate. Our neighborhood council voted unanimously to support the neighborhood councils and alliances having a seat at the table and having extra time to present our case. We would like to be agendized before public comment, as we are an integral part of the city family. By the way, our community impact statement is on its way, so it will be there shortly. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming down. General Jeff, followed by Kim Marie. In fact, he's going to be a gentleman, Miss Marie, so let's allow him to be just that. Welcome.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Kim Marie, Park Mesa Heights Community Council. And not to be repetitious on what my colleagues at the meeting said, we need the participation from the community. The only way we can do that is if the pipeline doesn't get broken down. If we are here to middle people, we need to know what you guys are doing. And if we don't know what you guys are doing, we cannot pass it on to them to get you to support you or anything. And the whole purpose of us volunteering our time that we don't have so much of gets defeated. You know, and the only way we can be successful at doing what we're doing is if the chain of communication does not break down and we know what's going on. We can get the community involved, and then you guys will know exactly what's going on because, you know, the community is the pulse and we're the ones that take it and you're the ones that do something about the pulse. We can't do that if there's a breakdown in communication. So, like I said, you know, for us to have heads up as to what is being discussed, what is happening, would be appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, General. Thank you, sir. Followed by Mr. Herman. Welcome, man.
Good morning, committee. Hey, Gracie. Let me just start by saying, like a man that I truly respect today, Glenn Bailey, said that, you know, he's wearing many hats today. I'm only wearing one, and it says straight out of Skid Row. So on topic, you know, when we talk about greater participation from neighborhood councils, obviously in the Skid Row community, we would have greater participation from the creation of the Skid Row Neighborhood Council. So we're very excited to do our part to help increase participation with the city family. Also, when we talk about the plan for a citywide system of neighborhood councils, a component that really needs to be addressed is the donations component. Because, you know, as the Skid Row Neighborhood Council comes online, we're going to need that option there because, as we all know, there's many donations that come into Skid Row from all over the around the world, and so.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Herman. Okay.
A foul, a foul, a foul. Back to the basics. Not even BHNO is on this agenda by this committee today. Greater participation by neighborhood councils in city council meetings. Well, let me remind you about the First Amendment Coalition, what they said about the Ralph Brown Act, that the requirements should go forward with advance notice so that people from the communities who are full participants in council neighborhood empowerment, known as parentheses DONE, done. Let's go back to the basics, Herb. Herb, don't you get it? If it were not for neighborhood councils, how will we know how this government works? How will we know what we can do in our community? In so many words, this phone might even ring right now because it has something to say to you other than NWA, NWA, NWA.
That has nothing to do with the item. So why don't you sit down and take your sidekick with you? Okay, now and Gracie, we may not need to ask you any questions. Depends on Mr. Marquise Harris Dawson. But to the neighborhood council people that are here, I just want to state to each and every one of you that it is the commitment of this committee to be more hands-on with you than committees in the past. We selected, I think, the right group that is committed to that end. I have been in the Valley twice. I've met with Slank 3 times. I've been at Lank. I've been at just about every neighborhood council coalition meeting that I could be at. And we talked about the various needs. And we did make commitments, like Mr. Bailey, we did make a commitment, and Ms. Garb, to try to come up with a way of affording the neighborhood councils more time to participate in the actual council process. And when we're having hearings, where it relates to the rollover policy, that's something that I am firmly behind and have the commitment of my colleagues on this committee, and we will get that done. I also want to let you know that not only will we be holding our meetings at 9 a.m. or at 8:30 in the morning, we'll be doing 6:30, 7 o'clock meetings in the evening as well. I think we are committed to hear from you and to allow you the opportunity to fully participate in the government which you are representatives of. I have no questions for the general manager's staff. I wondered if you might want to have a question or say anything, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I just have a question as a new member of this committee about noticing for council committee meetings, how that happens with the neighborhood councils. So going forward, we can make sure that they get advance notice.
Good morning, honorable members. Gracie Liu, General Manager for the Department of Neighbor Empowerment. What we do, we have a weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday. Last Friday, when we sent out the newsletter, I did state that this meeting would be occurring the following Friday. I know some neighbor council board members, they're very busy, and I understand that sometimes they don't get a chance to look at our newsletter. So last night I happened to go to the Slank, and I also mentioned again that this committee would be meeting this morning, and that is how some of the board members who are here today knew about the meeting. But we disseminate almost all of our information through our weekly newsletters, and we let the neighbor councils know what's going on in the city.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, on this item.
Excuse me, Councilman?
Yes,
May I speak?
yeah, of course you can.
Thank you. Good morning, Deputy City Attorney Carmen Hawkins. I wanted, before you take action on this, the City Attorney's Office did want to bring to your attention that there is a concern with part of the motion that is going forward, and that's with respect to including the alliances on the same terms as neighborhood councils, providing them with the same basic benefits of neighborhood council, of additional time to speak before the city council, basically, as they say, sitting here at the table. You want to consider the issue that the alliances are non-city entities, and that by giving them the same recognition as city entities, you're potentially opening the door for other non-city entities to come and make the same request of being able to sit at this table. There are other options available to council that they may want to consider if they are interested in giving non-city entities additional time to speak on matters.
Okay. I appreciate your concern, and moving forward, we share the same concern. So moving forward, we'll do what we can to get to a point where your office is comfortable and our offices are comfortable as well. So with that said, we will adopt the recommendations as submitted by the chair. So without objection, that will be the order. I have 3 general public comment cards. Mr. Bailey, Mr. Spindler, and Mr. Herman, please come forward. Yes, Mr. Bailey.
Okay, just waiting to restart the clock.
We'll
Glenn Bailey
restart
again.
it.
Glenn Bailey again. Good morning. Not knowing how much time we had on the other presentation, I did want to indicate for illustrative purposes a situation of just one neighborhood council regarding the neighborhood council funding program. In the case of Northridge East Neighborhood Council, we put in funding requests to the bank, and incidentally, I think the checking account system is a great system, and I commend for doing that, with $7,000 of expenditures that were requested on or before June 30th. but we have been unable to get the funding department to recognize that, and therefore that money not being taken out of last fiscal year. It has taken many hours, many emails to deal with that, and that's a good argument, in my opinion, to have a rollover. Unfortunately, this will probably have to come to a motion by our city council member, Englander, in order to resolve the situation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Spindler? I think this is it.
Yeah. So you all, man, that ain't enough time, 3 minutes on all that other stuff. Now, you got to watch The Truth, Alex Jones, y'all, Infowars.com, y'all, 12 to 3 a.m., y'all, AM 1150, y'all. Listen to the man. He talking about these fools right here. They're going up to Sacramento and supporting raising your motherfucking taxes on your property by a simple majority of the Democratic Party in Sacramento. They taking away your 2/3 right to vote for you. They gonna vote your property taxes in Sacramento by only 50% instead of letting you, the people of the community, vote. So Herb Wesson and his mafia done supporting taking away your right to vote in favor of the motherfucker in Sacramento raising your property taxes and taking your home. Vote no on this shit.
Well, we know you can swear.
So did NWA, and they made them famous. They supported Compton, made them famous. So what's the issue, Herb? For one bullshit minute of public comment again? And then you wonder why we criticize you so much, right?
I don't care about your criticism,
Have some
Mr.
respect
Herman.
for the people who come down here at 9 o'clock in the morning and give
You
them
show respect, you'll get respect.
That's the bullshit here, bro. That's the bullshit.
And don't
I wanna
bro
talk
me.
your style, ghetto style, because that's the way your mentality is. Stop fucking with the people. This is the people's house, and I represent the people. So like I said gently before,
Fuck you, Herb Wesson, because you're such a racist when you deny us censorship. The Brown Act allows us to criticize you under AB 194 and Measure 42. So get it through your ignorance. You're just another politician. Take off your diaper and hang it to dry. Constantly.
You need to get a job, Mr. Herman. Ruth Cernoff, please come forward.
Ruth Sarnoff, a new law needs to be passed around homes, not jails. Say no to safer cities and quality of life policing. It is just a nicer way of saying criminalize poor people. Instead, say yes to homes for everyone. Say yes to decriminalization and diversion programs. Say yes to good jobs for everyone. For many years, LA Can and others have been reclaiming public space and dialogue in the new downtown to make it clear that longtime low-income residents of downtown LA are organized and have a plan that promotes equity and upholds human rights. Instead of continually calling for more police or writing new laws that criminalize basic needs, which will do nothing to end homelessness or poverty, the city must invest in solutions that serve everyone and uplift all of us in downtown. This is our home and our community, and we aren't going anywhere. We can all share downtown.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. Your time is up. Do we have any more business before this committee? This committee is, oh, General, did you have a card? I didn't see a, General, you had a public comment? Come on. Come on. General, come on. You good.
Okay, thank you.
You're good.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, committee. In regards to subdivision, we're excited that this subdivision process is moving forward. We have concerns, though, from the general manager of Dunn's report to Bunk that was issued earlier this week, that the timeline, they want to do elections on the neighborhood council elections on odd years and on even years, and the potential new neighborhood councils on odd years. And so For the Skid Row Neighborhood Council to file an application, we would actually have to wait until October 2016, and then our vote for certification wouldn't even happen until 2017. That is too far away, and we definitely need that time frame moved up so that we can activate our community in the necessary manner so that we can improve our community. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, there's no more business before this committee, so this committee is adjourned. Thank you all for your service.